80%. By the time a young girl is just 13 years old, there is an 80% chance she's using computer technology to completely change her face before she lets the world see her picture.
Wow. That is a massive number.
Right. She shrinks her nose, she makes her skin lighter, she changes the shape of her eyes. I mean, at 13 years old, she has already learned that her real natural face is just, not good enough for the internet.
Yeah, it's a truly shocking number to hear. But the sad thing is, it is happening every single day. The digital world is completely changing our real-world identities.
Absolutely.
Like, it changes how we see ourselves in the mirror, and it changes how we talk to the people around us.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to English for Fine. If you are joining us for the first time, our goal here is very simple. We are friendly guides, and we just want to help you improve your English through clear, natural conversations about the world we live in.
Exactly. We love reading and sharing information. We explore important daily topics so you can learn new vocabulary, understand native speakers, and discover something fascinating at the same time.
Yeah, and today we are exploring a topic that touches almost every single person listening right now. We are doing a deep dive into social media versus real life.
Oh, this is a big one. We are going to unpack the heavy differences between the bright, fast world on our phone screens and the physical world where we actually, breathe and sleep and live.
Right. And to really understand this, we gathered a massive amount of information for this conversation. We are looking at large university studies from Europe and from China.
Hmm.
We are also pulling data from psychology reports. We have a mental health guide. And we are looking at a very popular book about a concept called digital minimalism.
So our mission for this deep dive is to pull all these pieces together for you. We want to understand the benefits of the internet, but also, the really serious disadvantages.
For sure.
We will look at how the screen changes your identity. And most importantly, we will share some real positive advice on how you can balance your digital life with your real life.
So let us start with what we actually see when we open an app on our phones. One of our sources from a youth mental health organization called Promly uses a very specific phrase.
Oh, right, the highlight reel.
Exactly. They call social media the highlight reel effect. For you listening, let's break down what a highlight reel actually is in simple English.
Yeah, it is a great metaphor.
Imagine you are watching a football game.
Hmm.
The game lasts for 2 full hours. There is a lot of running, a lot of waiting around, and maybe a lot of mistakes.
A lot of boring parts, honestly.
Right. But when you watch the sports news later that night, they do not show you the boring 2 hours.
No, of course not. They only show the goals, they show the amazing passes, the jumping fans, and the winning moments. Those best, most exciting moments are the highlights.
Exactly. And the source argues that social media is just a highlight reel of human life. We only show the internet our winning moments. When you scroll through your phone, you see people standing on beautiful beaches, you see them graduating from university, you see perfect plates of food at really expensive restaurants.
But what you do not see is the reality behind the picture.
Right.
The struggles.
Exactly. The highlight reel completely hides the real-life struggles. A person might post a picture of a smiling couple, right?
Yeah.
But they hide the terrible argument they had in the car just 10 minutes earlier. They hide the feeling of failing a big test. They hide the worry of losing a job or just that quiet feeling of loneliness on a Friday night.
And when you only see the highlights of everyone else's life, you naturally start to feel like your own life is boring or sad.
Oh, absolutely.
But, this desire to only show our best side is not actually a new invention. People have been doing this long before smartphones even existed.
That is very true. To understand why we do this, we can look at a very famous theory from sociology.
And just to clarify for our listeners, sociology is the study of human society and how people act in groups.
Yeah.
Exactly. And years ago, a sociologist named Irving Goffman wrote about something he called the presentation of self.
Okay, the presentation of self.
Yes. He used a very simple metaphor to explain human behavior. He said we should think about daily life like a theater. Imagine a building where actors perform a play on a wooden stage for an audience.
A theater. Okay, so in this metaphor, we are all the actors, right?
Oh.
How does this explain our behavior?
Well, Goffman explained that every human being has two different spaces, a front stage and a backstage.
Okay.
The front stage is where you are when you are around other people.
Yeah.
You're performing. You are following the rules of society. You want people to think you are smart, polite, and successful.
Like when you go to work.
Exactly. When you go to an office to work or when you meet new friends for coffee, you are standing on the front stage.
And what happens when the play is over? When you go home.
And you go to the backstage. The backstage is your private life. It is when you are completely alone or maybe only with your closest, safest family members. On the backstage, you do not have to perform. You can take off your heavy work clothes, you can wear an old, comfortable shirt, you can cry, you can be messy, and you can just be a normal, tired human.
That makes perfect sense. So social media is basically the biggest front stage in human history.
It is the ultimate front stage.
Hmm?
And Goffman also talked about how we communicate on that stage. He divided our communication into two categories.
What are they?
First, they're the expressions we give. These are the things we completely control. If I smile widely and say, I am doing great,
Yeah.
that is an expression I choose to give you.
Right. I am choosing my words and I am choosing my smile.
But then, there are the impressions we give off.
Give off. Okay.
Yes, these are the accidental clues. These are the things we do not want people to see, but our bodies show them anyway.
I see. So if I am standing on the front stage, I might smile and say, I am doing great. That is what I give.
Right.
But maybe my hands are shaking. Maybe my eyes look red from crying. Maybe my voice is a little bit quiet or shaky.
Yes,
Those shaking hands and red eyes are the impressions I give off. They are accidents. They tell the true story that I am actually very nervous or very sad.
yes. In real physical life, it is very hard to hide the impressions we give off. People can see your shaking hands. But in the digital world, you have absolute control.
Because you can just delete it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Online spaces allow people to completely edit themselves. You can write a blog post, or you can create an avatar, a little digital character that represents you in an online game like Second Life.
Right.
In those digital spaces, you can delete the shaking hands. You can delete the red eyes. You only show the perfect smile.
You completely remove all the accidents. You have total control over the performance. But wait, I have to challenge this idea for a moment.
That'll go for it.
We keep talking about this like it is a terrible thing, but don't we do this in real life anyway?
What do you mean?
Well, if I meet someone new at a party, I wear my nice clothes, I tell my funniest stories. I do not walk up to a stranger and immediately tell them about my worst mistakes and my money problems. We naturally hide the bad stuff.
Aye.
Why is social media any different from just going to a normal party?
You are right that the instinct is exactly the same. We all want to be liked. But the big difference is the volume and the time.
The time.
Yes. In the real world, you go to a party for maybe 3 hours. You perform on the front stage, and then you go home to your backstage. You rest.
Oh, I see.
On social media, the party never stops. The performance is happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it is not just you performing. You're staring at millions of other people performing perfectly all day, every day.
So in real life, the party ends and you take off your shoes. On the internet, you can never take your shoes off. You are always watching and always feeling like you have to perform.
And because this constant performance, researchers talk about something called a blended identity.
Blended identity. What does that mean?
It means that the wall between your digital self and your real self starts to break down. They mix or blend together. You spend so much time pretending to be the perfect, happy version of yourself online that you actually start to feel confused about who you really are when you put the phone down.
Wow, you just forget how to be normal. It is like, imagine an actor wearing a very heavy superhero costume on a stage.
Okay, I like this analogy.
You want the audience to think you are a brave superhero. But underneath that heavy plastic suit, you are just a regular person sweating and feeling tired. Eventually, if you wear the costume long enough, you forget how to walk without it.
That is exactly what happens. And this brings us to the next massive problem. This desire to have a perfect highlight reel does not just stay in our minds. It moves from changing our stories to actually changing our physical bodies.
Oh, right. This is where the information we found gets very dark. We read reports from Psychology Today and a mental health support group called ARC Counseling. They talk in detail about the danger of beauty filters.
Yes. And for our listeners, a filter is a piece of computer software on your phone. It uses artificial intelligence to scan your face in a camera and instantly change how you look on the screen.
The technology is incredibly advanced now. On the app TikTok, there is a very famous skinny filter.
I have heard of that one. It is terrifying.
It really is. You stand in front of your camera, and the robot instantly pulls the edges of your body inward. It makes your waist look smaller and your legs look thinner, all while you are moving in real time.
And on Instagram, there is the perfect face filter. It acts like instant digital surgery.
Yeah, I have seen that one. You turn it on, and suddenly your skin has no spots, your nose is thin and straight, your lips are full, your eyes are huge and bright. It completely erases normal human features.
And as you mentioned at the very start of our conversation, the statistics are just terrifying. 80% of girls use an app to change their appearance in a photograph by the time they are 13.
13 years old.
Think about what a 13-year-old child is going through. Their bodies are just starting to grow. They are trying to figure out who they are. And the very first tool they are given is a machine that tells them your real face needs to be fixed.
There was a specific study done in London that looked at this. The researchers talked to 175 young people. What did they find out about how these young women use these digital tools?
Well, they found that 90% of the young women in the study use filters regularly.
90%.
Yeah. And they do not just use them for fun. They use them to brighten their skin color. They use them to shrink their body size. They reshape their heavy jawlines to look softer. They make their eyes look unnaturally large. They are actively erasing their real physical identities.
Why do they feel they have to do this? Like, what happens in the brain when a person looks at these images?
Psychologists call this the compare and despair trap.
Compare and despair. Let's explain those words.
To compare means to look at two things and judge the differences. Despair is a very strong English word. It means a feeling of total sadness where you have zero hope left. The trap works in a very specific, painful cycle.
Walk me through the cycle. How does the trap catch someone?
Step one, you open your phone, you see a photograph of a very famous influencer with a tiny waist and perfect smooth skin.
Okay, that happens every day.
Right. Step two, you walk into your bathroom and look in the real mirror. You compare the digital image of the famous person to your real normal body.
The comparison.
Yes. Step three, you see the differences. You see your normal skin, your normal waist. And because of the comparison, you feel despair. You feel like you are broken or ugly.
To understand why this feeling is so strong, we really have to look deeper. Why does our brain care so much about what other people look like? I was reading about the evolutionary psychology behind this.
Oh, the tribal survival idea.
Yes. Thousands of years ago, early humans lived in very small tribes, maybe 40 or 50 people. In a small tribe, your survival depended on fitting in.
Exactly. If you looked around the tribe and realized you were different, or you were not as strong or as capable as the others, that was a danger signal.
Right. It meant the tribe might leave you behind.
Your brain evolved to constantly compare you to the people around you to keep you safe.
But today, our brains are still using that ancient survival software. When you open your phone, your brain does not know the difference between a small physical tribe and a digital network of 5 million people.
That is such a good point.
You are suddenly comparing yourself to the top 1% of the most beautiful, most edited people on the planet. Your brain thinks you are failing to survive in the tribe.
That's a brilliant way to explain it. Our ancient brains just cannot handle the modern digital environment. And the researchers wanted to prove just how damaging this comparison is to our self-esteem. So they created an experiment with iPads.
Oh, I remember reading this. This was fascinating.
Yes, imagine you are walking into a bright, quiet room at a university. There are 130 women in this experiment. The researchers ask you to sit down, and they hand you an iPad.
Okay, I am holding the iPad. What are the instructions?
The instructions are simple. They tell the women to use the iPad to take a selfie, a picture of themselves. Then the researchers give the women time to play with the photo. They say, you can use these filters. You can edit the picture however you want before we save it.
And what are the researchers measuring?
They carefully measured how the women felt about their own bodies before they touched the iPad and then again after they finished editing.
Well, if I am guessing the result of this, I assume the women who spent the most time fixing their digital faces felt much worse about their real faces when the iPad was taken away.
You are exactly right. The data showed a straight, undeniable line. The more minutes a woman spent looking closely at her photo, dragging her finger across the screen to make her nose smaller or her eyes bigger, the worse her mental health became.
Wow.
Yeah. When you spend 10 minutes fixing a mistake on a screen, your brain starts to believe your real face is the mistake. When they put the iPad down and looked in a real mirror, their confidence was completely broken.
That is devastating, and we need to make something very clear right now. This is not just a problem for young girls. Boys and young men are suffering from this heavily, too. The pressure is just shaped a little differently.
Yes, absolutely. For young men, the digital pressure is usually focused on physical size and strength. The sources use a medical term for this, muscle dysmorphia.
Muscle dysmorphia. And some people use a slang word too, right?
Yes, some people use the slang word bigorexia. It is a serious mental health condition.
How does muscle dysmorphia change a young man's behavior? Like, what does he do?
Well, a boy opens a social media app and sees thousands of videos of fitness models. These men have enormous muscles, zero body fat, and perfect shoulders.
Right.
The boy looks at his own healthy, normal body and feels tiny. He feels weak. He develops bigorexia, which means no matter how much he exercises or how strong he gets, when he looks in the mirror, his brain tricks him.
So he never feels big enough.
Exactly. He still sees himself as a weak, small boy. It can lead to dangerous eating habits and the use of illegal drugs to grow muscles faster.
And here's the most frustrating part about all of this. Whether we are talking about the perfect face for women or the giant muscles for men, many of these images are a complete lie. They are not natural. They are purchased.
Yes, the IRC counseling guide points this out very clearly. Many famous people on the internet claim they woke up looking beautiful. They claim they just drink water and exercise.
But the reality is their beauty is bought with huge amounts of money.
Right. They spend $10,000 on cosmetic surgery. They pay for expensive hair extensions. They get needles injected into their lips to make them full.
And the fitness models buy illegal steroids to grow muscles. They hire private chefs to cook perfect meals. But when they post the picture, they hide all the money and the surgery. They just type, living a natural life.
It is entirely dishonest. It tricks normal people into feeling guilty. The normal person thinks, why don't I look like that? I must be lazy. I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah, they do not realize they are comparing their natural body to a body created by doctors and computers.
And to make it even more confusing, the definition of a perfect body changes every few years. It is like a fashion trend. A few years ago, the internet decided you needed to have curves. You needed to have a larger, softer shape.
Yes, and then suddenly the trend changed to stick thin. People felt pressure to lose as much weight as possible to look like a straight line.
Now, there is a bizarre trend called slim thick.
Slim thick, what is that?
Society tells young women they must have an incredibly skinny, flat stomach, but they must also have very large, curvy hips and legs. This body shape is genetically impossible for almost every human on Earth without paying for dangerous surgery.
If the idea of a perfect body changes every 3 years, like a popular style of shoes, how can it be real?
It cannot be real. It is an impossible target. But I know what you might be thinking. A lot of people say, but I am smart. When I look at a picture of a model, I know it has a filter. I know she had surgery, so it shouldn't bother me.
Yes, I feel that way too. If my logical brain can look at a TikTok video and say, that is fake, why does it still hurt my confidence? Why does my brain forget that it is a trick?
It is a great question, and it really comes back to how fast our brains process visual information. Your eyes see a beautiful, perfect face on the screen. In a fraction of a second, before your logical brain has time to think, your emotional brain has already reacted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it has already made the comparison. The emotional brain says, that person is beautiful. I am not.
So the emotion happens faster than the logic.
Exactly. And it is about repetition. If you see one fake picture, your logic wins. But if you scroll for 2 hours and see 1,000 perfect fake faces, the constant repetition overrides your logic.
Your brain just accepts it as truth.
Yes. Your brain starts to accept that this level of perfection is normal. And when perfection becomes normal, your actual real face feels below average.
That is a huge warning to all of us about what we let our eyes consume every day. But, changing our physical faces is only half of the story.
That's right.
The internet does not just change how we look. It completely changes how we act and how we feel. To understand this, our research takes us across the world to China.
Yes, let's look at a fascinating study from China. The researchers wanted to understand how young adults build their lives on major internet platforms. They looked at platforms like Weibo, Redbook, and TikTok.
And the size of the study is incredible, right?
It is. They looked at a digital area with 5.16 million users. 80% of those users were teenagers and young adults.
That is a massive amount of data. And what the researchers found was a concept they call identity deception.
Identity deception.
Yes, and to deceive someone means to trick them or lie to them. They found that young people are creating completely different personalities on the internet.
This happens largely because of anonymity. Anonymity means having no name.
Right.
When you use the internet, you do not have to show your face. You do not have to use the name your parents gave you. You are a secret. You are completely anonymous.
Right. And when no one knows who you are, the rules of real life just disappear. The study gave a really powerful example of this.
Oh, the personality shift.
Yeah, think about a person who is very quiet in real life. Maybe they are shy. Maybe they are afraid to speak up in a classroom. But when they go online and become anonymous, they suddenly become very loud.
Right. They type strong opinions, they argue with people, they become a totally different character.
Because they are free from the social pressure of their real-life community. The study shared a very specific, deeply human story about this. They studied a 30-year-old woman in China who is unmarried.
Let's talk about her life. In many traditional cultures, including parts of Chinese society, there is an immense pressure from family to get married when you are young.
Very much so. In her real physical life, this woman faces heavy judgment from her family and neighbors. They actually use a very cruel term for her. They call her a leftover woman.
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
Imagine sitting at a family dinner table. Your parents and aunts are passing the food, and they are constantly asking why you do not have a husband. They treat you like you are broken or left behind.
In real life, it makes her feel terribly anxious. She feels guilty. She stays quiet at the dinner table because she feels like a failure.
Yeah. But then the dinner ends, she goes to her bedroom, she opens her computer. On social media, she did not use her real name. She created a new girl identity.
Who is the new girl? How does she act online?
The new girl is confident. Online, this woman focuses entirely on her career, her intelligence, and her independence. She writes posts about how hard she works at her job. She talks about the joy of being a strong, single woman who makes her own money.
And what happened when she shared this new identity?
She found a huge community of strangers who supported her. People from all over the country read her posts and cheered for her. They told her she was doing amazing things.
Right.
They told her her career was valuable. She received the love, respect, and comfort from strangers on the internet that her own family refused to give her in real life.
Wait, I have to jump in here. On the surface, this sounds like a beautiful story. We are celebrating that she found a safe place and a supportive community.
Okay, I hear a but coming.
Yes. But isn't this just a temporary bandage? If she retreats to her digital bedroom every night to get comfort from strangers, isn't she just running away? If she never learns to look her family in the eye and defend her choices in real life, she is losing her real-world communication skills.
That is the exact danger, the researchers point out. It is a double-edged sword, a sword that cuts both ways.
Right.
Yes, the internet provides a safe place to find support, which can save a person's mental health in the short term. But if you only talk to people online who agree with you, your real-world social muscles become weak.
It is like lifting weights. If you never lift anything heavy, your arms get weak. If you never practice having difficult conversations in real life, your social skills disappear.
The China study noted this heavily. Young people are finding it much harder to handle conflicts, ask a stranger for directions, or even make eye contact in the physical world.
Why do the hard work of arguing with your family when it is so much easier to just close your bedroom door and talk to a screen that loves you?
That is a very lonely thought. You might be popular online, but you are still sitting alone in a room. And even that digital popularity comes with a massive amount of pressure. Let's talk about the robot boss. Let's talk about algorithmic curation.
Yes. The study looked closely at how platforms like TikTok and Reddit actually work. They run on algorithms. An algorithm is a complex set of mathematical instructions used by a computer. But you can think of it as a robot boss that lives inside the app.
What is the robot boss's job? Like, what does it do?
The robot boss has one job: to keep human eyes looking at the screen for as long as possible. To do this, the robot curates, or carefully selects, the videos it shows you.
So it watches what I do.
It watches everything you do. It measures how many seconds you look at a funny cat video. It measures what pictures you like. Then it uses that math to decide who becomes famous and who gets ignored.
So if you are a person making videos, you are not really making videos for your friends anymore. You are making videos to please the robot boss.
Exactly. This changes human behavior on a massive scale. Creators realize that if they speak softly, the robot ignores them. If they yell and act crazy, the robot shows their video to 1 million people.
Wow.
So perfectly normal people start acting wild, loud, and extreme just to satisfy the hidden rules of a computer program.
You change who you are to feed the machine. This pressure connects to another huge issue found in the research about a Chinese platform called RedNote.
RedNote is an app where people share lifestyle tips. They share how they study for university, what they eat, and how they exercise. The study found that RedNote creates a crushing amount of pressure through a system called meritocracy.
Let's define meritocracy for our English learners. In a perfect world, a meritocracy is a system where the people who work the hardest and study the longest get the highest rewards. It means you earn your success through your own hard work. Why is this a bad thing on social media?
Because on RedNote, the highlight reel makes it look like everyone is working harder than you.
Oh, I see.
A normal university student opens the app. They see a video of a peer waking up at 5 in the morning. Then they see a post of someone getting a perfect score on a medical exam. Then they see a video of someone doing a perfect 2-hour workout.
Right. And the student looking at this might be exhausted. Maybe they woke up late. Maybe they failed a quiz. When they see all this perfection, the meritocracy system tells them these people are succeeding because they work harder than you. You are failing because you are lazy.
It creates huge anxiety. It makes young people feel like they are completely failing at life. They are comparing their normal, messy reality to a highly edited, completely unrealistic standard of human performance.
So this constant pressure to be perfect, to please the robot boss, and to hide from real-world conflicts, it is exhausting. It takes a heavy toll on our physical and mental health.
Absolutely.
To see just how heavy that toll is, we need to look at our next major source. We are moving to a massive study conducted across 27 European countries.
The size of this European Union study is what makes it so important. Researchers surveyed thousands of young people across 27 different nations with different languages and cultures.
What were they looking for?
They wanted to find the exact connection between using social media, feeling lonely, and experiencing emotional distress. Emotional distress means feeling trapped, nervous, anxious, or deeply sad.
Before they shared the hard numbers, the researchers explained that scientists generally have 3 different theories about how phones affect our brains. Let's explain these 3 theories so our listeners can think about which one sounds right. The first theory is called the displacement hypothesis.
Displacement is a word that means pushing something out of its normal place and taking its spot. The displacement hypothesis says that social media is harmful because it pushes real-life human connection out of the way.
So instead of meeting my friend for coffee to talk about a bad day, I just send them a sad face emoji on a text message.
Right.
Instead of giving my mother a hug, I just click the like button on her picture. The digital action takes the place of the physical action. And because human bodies need physical hugs and real voices, we end up feeling lonely.
That is the first theory. The digital world starves us of real connection. The second theory argues the exact opposite. It is called the stimulation hypothesis.
To stimulate means to encourage or increase activity. How does this theory work?
The stimulation hypothesis says that social media is actually a wonderful tool for human happiness. It argues that the internet allows us to communicate more. It stimulates connection.
Like reaching more people.
Exactly. You could talk to a friend in Japan, a cousin in Brazil, and a classmate next door, all in 5 minutes. Because you were talking to more people, it should make you feel supported and less lonely.
Okay, so theory 1 says phones make us lonely. Theory 2 says phones make us happy. What is the third theory?
The third theory is the Goldilocks hypothesis. You probably know the old children's story about a girl named Goldilocks who walks into a bear's house.
Oh, right. She tastes the soup.
Exactly. She tastes 3 bowls of soup. One bowl is much too hot. The second bowl is much too cold. But the third bowl is just right.
Ah. So the Goldilocks hypothesis says that social media is like the soup. Using your phone for 12 hours a day is bad. Smashing your phone and living in the woods is bad. But finding a small, healthy amount of digital connection is just right.
Exactly. So those are the 3 theories. The researchers looked at the data from all 27 countries to see which theory was the truth.
And what did the data actually prove? Which theory won?
The data revealed something fascinating. The answer is not about how much you use your phone. The answer depends entirely on how you use your phone.
The how?
Yes. The researchers discovered a massive difference between 2 specific behaviors, passive use and active use.
This is the most important part of the research. Let's break this down very clearly. Let's start with passive use. What does a passive user do?
The word passive means you are not taking any action. You are letting things happen to you. Passive use happens mostly on apps like Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. You sit on your couch, you hold your phone, you use your thumb to scroll up and up and up. You look at pictures, you watch short videos, but you never type a comment. You never send a message to a person. You are just a silent watcher.
And what does the European study say happens to the brain of a passive user?
The numbers are undeniable. If a young person engages in passive use for more than 2 hours a day, their mental health drops quickly. Scrolling silently for 2 hours greatly increases feelings of deep sadness, nervousness, and heavy loneliness.
Why does watching videos make us so lonely?
because it feeds the compare and despair trap we talked about earlier. You are spending 2 hours looking at everyone else's highlight reel. You see a million parties you are not invited to. You see beautiful vacations you cannot afford. You are consuming perfection without having any real human interaction to ground you.
Okay, so silent scrolling for more than 2 hours is toxic. Now, what is active use?
Active use mostly involves messaging apps like WhatsApp or direct messaging on other platforms. Active means you are participating. You are typing a joke to a friend. You are asking your sister a question. You are sending a voice note to your mother. You are actively talking back and forth with another human being.
And what did the data show about active use?
The data was a huge surprise. The study proved that active use does not cause depression. In fact, young people who spent time actively messaging their friends actually felt less lonely. Sending a direct text to a real person helps you feel connected and supported.
Think about it like a physical house. Passive scrolling is like standing alone outside in the cold, dark night. You are looking through a bright window into a warm dining room.
Oh, I love this analogy.
You can see people inside laughing, eating dinner, and having fun. You are watching them, but you are not invited. That makes you feel freezing cold and totally lonely.
That is a perfect image. Watching through the window is passive.
But active messaging is opening the front door, walking into the warm house, sitting down at the table, and talking to the people eating dinner. Even if you are typing on a phone from far away, you are participating in the meal. You are part of the group.
Yes. The tragedy is that social media companies do not want you to sit at the table. They design their apps to keep you standing outside the window, passively watching.
Why do they do that?
Because while you are staring through the window, they can show you hundreds of advertisements and make money.
And staring through that window causes another huge psychological problem. We found this in the Chinese Red Note study. It brings up a very popular English slang word, FOMO, that is spelled F-O-M-O. What does FOMO actually mean?
FOMO stands for fear of missing out. It is that sudden, tight feeling of anxiety you get in your chest. It happens when you think your friends or your peers are doing something incredibly fun or learning something incredibly important and you are not there to experience it.
Think about life 20 years ago. If your friends had a party on a Friday night and they did not invite you, you probably just stayed home and read a book. You didn't even know the party was happening. You were peaceful.
But today, because of social media, you see the party happening live. You are sitting in your quiet bedroom and your phone vibrates. You open it and see a live video of your friends laughing and dancing. Instantly, the fear of missing out hits you.
And the research shows that FOMO is not just a sad thought in your head, it is a physical reaction, right? It changes your body chemistry.
Yes, FOMO triggers a stress response in your nervous system. Your body releases a chemical called cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Young people who experience high levels of FOMO report physical symptoms.
Like what kind of symptoms?
Their hands sweat. They get terrible headaches. Their hearts beat very fast, like they are in real physical danger.
Because going back to evolutionary psychology, their brain thinks they have been kicked out of the tribe. It feels like a survival threat.
Exactly. And because of this physical stress, they suffer from terrible insomnia. They cannot sleep. They are so terrified they will miss a joke or a news update or a video that everyone will talk about tomorrow that they refuse to turn their phones off. They lie in the dark, exhausted, staring at a bright screen until 2 in the morning.
It is a vicious, terrible cycle. You feel lonely, so you open your phone to feel connected. You passively scroll and see people having fun without you. That triggers FOMO.
Right.
The FOMO creates physical stress and stops you from sleeping. You lie awake feeling tired and anxious, so you just keep scrolling.
It traps millions of people every single night.
Okay. We have looked at the darkness. We have talked about the highlight reel, the fake beauty filters, the pressure of the algorithm robot, the danger of passive scrolling, and the physical stress of FOMO. The data is clear. Our digital lives are hurting our real lives.
They really are.
So what is the solution? We need to transition to the most important part of our conversation. How do we fix this? How do we find a healthy balance?
Well, we found incredibly hopeful and practical advice across our sources. Let's start with a big idea from a book called Digital Minimalism. It was written by a computer science professor named Cal Newport.
Let's break that title down. Digital means anything related to computers, screens, or the internet. Minimalism comes from the word minimal. Minimal means the absolute smallest amount necessary. So what exactly is digital minimalism?
Digital minimalism is a philosophy for your life. It means you only use technology that adds true, measurable value to your daily life. A digital minimalist does not hate technology. They love good tools, but they refuse to use their phone mindlessly.
Give me an example of the difference.
A digital minimalist will use a map app on their phone to find a new restaurant. That adds value. It stops them from getting lost.
Fine.
They will use a messaging app to organize a family dinner. That adds value. It creates real-world connection.
Right.
But a minimalist will not sit on the toilet for 40 minutes swiping through random videos of strangers dancing. That does not add value. That is mindless.
To help people escape the mindless scrolling, Cal Newport suggests a massive challenge. He calls it the 30-day digital declutter.
Yes.
To declutter means to take a messy room, throw away the garbage, and only keep what is clean and useful. How does a digital declutter work?
It is a 30-day reset for your brain. The rule is very strict. For one entire month, you take a break from all non-essential apps and technology. You delete Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook from your phone. You do not look at them on your computer.
You completely disappear from the front stage for 30 days. What is allowed?
You can only use technology if it is an emergency or if you absolutely need it for your job. For example, if you need email to talk to your boss, you keep email, but everything else is gone.
30 days with no scrolling sounds terrifying for most people today. What actually happens to a person during those 30 days?
Well, the first week is very difficult. Your brain goes through withdrawals, almost like quitting a drug. You feel anxious, your hand constantly reaches for your pocket to grab your phone, and it feels strange when it is not there.
I can imagine.
But by the second week, your brain begins to calm down.
You start to remember what the real world feels like.
Yes. You remember what it feels like to just be bored while waiting for a bus. Instead of looking down, you look up. You look at the sky. You watch the trees. You start reading physical paper books again. You find you have hours of free time every evening to cook, walk, or talk to your family.
And what happens when the 30 days are over? Do you just download all the apps again?
No, that is the most important part. After the detox, your mind is clear. You slowly, carefully bring back technology. But you ask yourself a question for every single app. Did I actually miss this? Did this make my life better?
You filter them.
Yes. You only bring back the tools that serve you. Most people find they never download the endless scrolling apps again because they realize those apps made them miserable.
The sources also mention a very interesting physical tool that helps people embrace this minimal lifestyle. It is a special phone called the Punkt MP02.
The Punkt phone is a beautiful piece of hardware. Today, our smartphones are not really phones. They are extremely powerful computers that we keep in our pockets. They have high-definition cameras, video games, internet browsers, and millions of apps designed to distract us.
And the Punkt phone?
The Punkt phone is the exact opposite.
How does it work?
It is a small, beautifully designed, simple object. It only does two things. It makes clear voice calls, and it sends simple text messages. That is it. It has no camera. It has no app store.
So you cannot check your highlight reel on a Punkt phone.
Exactly. It's a tool designed specifically to break smartphone addiction. If you leave your smartphone at home and carry the Punkt phone in your pocket, you are safe. If your mother has a medical emergency, she can call you. If your friends want to invite you to lunch, they can text you. You are connected to the people who matter.
But when you are standing in line at the grocery store and you feel a little bit bored, you cannot pull out the Punkt phone and scroll. It forces you to keep your head up. It forces you to be present in your physical life.
It puts the technology back in its proper place, as a tool you use, rather than a master that controls you.
Buying a special second phone or doing a strict 30-day detox sounds amazing, but I know it might sound too extreme for a lot of people listening right now. So let's look at the very gentle, positive advice from the ARC Counseling Guide. What are some small ways we can protect our mental health right now?
The ARC Guide offers wonderful advice about how to manage your digital environment. Their first rule is, curate your feed. We talked about the algorithm robot curating videos for you. You need to take that power back. You need to be the boss of your own screen.
How do I do that?
You use the unfollow and mute buttons aggressively. If you follow a famous fitness model and every time you look at their perfect body you feel terrible about your own stomach, stop looking at them. Click unfollow.
Just delete them from your view.
Yes, you do not owe a stranger on the internet your attention. If a celebrity's perfect occasion photos make you feel poor, mute them.
I really love that. Treat your phone screen like your living room. You wouldn't invite a stranger into your living room to tell you that you are ugly. Why would you let an app do it? So we unfollow the perfection. Who should we follow instead?
Follow reality. Find and follow accounts that show real, normal life. Follow people who show their acne and bad hair days. Follow people who talk about their mistakes. Follow artists, scientists, or bakers who share interesting skills instead of just their bodies.
Because that changes your brain, right?
Exactly. If you fill your screen with normal, creative things, your brain will stop thinking that fake perfection is the standard.
That is a great step. The psychology reports also suggest a physical practice you can do in your own bathroom to repair your self-esteem. It is called mirror meditation.
Yes, this comes from Psychology Today, and it is a very powerful exercise to fix the damage caused by beauty filters. Here is how you do it. Every day, you stand in front of a mirror in your home for 10 minutes. You do not hold your phone. You do not use special lighting. You just look at your raw, natural face and your natural body.
For a lot of young people who are used to filters, staring at their real face for 10 minutes sounds terrifying.
It will feel very uncomfortable at first. Your brain will immediately want to point out all your flaws. It will say, look at that spot on your skin, look at the shape of your nose. But the practice of meditation is to acknowledge those thoughts and let them go.
You just observe.
Yes, you practice looking at yourself with kindness. You practice accepting your real face as a normal, beautiful human face.
And the ARC guide adds a perfect closing thought to this idea. When we think about our bodies, we have been trained by social media to think of our bodies as objects to be photographed. But the guide says we must focus on what our bodies do, not just how they look.
That is a life-changing shift in perspective. Social media tells you that your body is just a 2D picture on a screen waiting to be judged by strangers. But your body is a magnificent working machine.
Yes. If you stop worrying about how your legs look in a picture, you can appreciate that your legs allow you to walk through a beautiful park. Your arms might not have giant muscles, but your arms allow you to hold your child or hug your best friend.
Exactly.
Your body lets you taste delicious food, hear great music, and feel the sunshine.
When you focus on the incredible actions your body performs to keep you alive, you stop caring if your waist is slightly bigger than a digital filter says it should be.
That is such a healthy, grounding way to think. Now, I want to ask you for one final piece of practical advice. We covered big ideas today, but imagine a listener who is holding their phone right now. They feel addicted to scrolling. What is one tiny, immediate step a beginner can take today to start building a wall between their digital life and their real life?
The easiest and most effective first step is to create physical boundaries in your home. I highly recommend making your bedroom a completely screen-free zone.
How does that work in practice?
Go to a store and buy a cheap old-fashioned alarm clock for $5. Put it next to your bed. Tonight, when you are ready to sleep, plug your phone into a charger in the kitchen. Do not bring the screen into the room where you sleep.
That solves two massive problems at once. First, it stops you from lying in the dark, scrolling for 3 hours and suffering from FOMO. You will sleep better.
Yep.
Second, when you wake up in the morning, the very first thing you do is look at the real world, not a digital highlight reel.
Exactly. Another tiny step is what I call the dinner table rule. When you sit down to eat a meal, whether you were eating alone or with your family, leave the phone in another room. For just 20 minutes, focus on chewing your food. Taste the flavors. Look at the faces of the people sitting across from you.
It sounds so simple.
It is simple, but these tiny 20-minute boundaries slowly train your brain that the physical world is safe and pleasant.
Leave the phone in the kitchen. Taste your food. Those are fantastic, easy steps that anyone listening can try tonight.
Well, we have covered an incredible amount of ground in this conversation.
We really have. We unpacked the sociology of the front stage. We looked at the evolutionary reasons why fake filters hurt us so deeply. We learned how algorithms change human behavior, and we discovered the real data, proving that passive scrolling makes us lonely, while active messaging keeps us connected. As we wrap up this deep dive, do you have a final thought or question to leave with our listener?
I do. I want to leave everyone with a thought experiment. It builds on everything we discussed today. I want you to imagine what would happen to the world and to your own personal happiness if tomorrow morning the internet suddenly banned all filters and all editing.
A total ban on digital perfection.
Yes. For just 1 week, no skinny filters, no face smoothers, no heavily edited highlight reels. Just raw, natural, messy human photos. If that happened, would the world end? Or would we all look at our screens, let out a massive deep breath, and finally realize that being completely normal is perfectly okay?
What a beautiful question. What if we all just relaxed and accepted that normal is enough? I really hope you, our listener, think about that question today. As you go back to your day, remember this. Your worth as a human being is absolutely not based on how many likes a computer program gives you. It is not based on having a flawless picture.
Not at all.
You are completely unique. You are a real, living, breathing person, and that is your superpower.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive conversation. We hope you learned some useful new English vocabulary, understood some complex ideas about how the internet works, and found a few simple tips to bring more peace into your daily routine. Remember, your real life is happening right now, right in front of you, not on a glowing screen. Keep practicing your English, keep learning about the world, and keep listening to English Refine. Have a wonderful day.